always touch on jealousy when I'm talking about different topics with the narcissist. But for the sake of today's video, I want to go deep into why narcissists are so jealous. I want to talk about how their jealousy drives them to act the way that they act. So I want you to think about this. Many times you are dealing with a narcissist and you see that they're jealous of you. You're wondering to yourself, why? But what you have to understand is that narcissism isn't about high self-esteem. It's about a fragile, shallow, and sometimes inconsistent sense of self. And this requires that constant external validation. In other words, the narcissist always needs to be validated because their entire world is built on a house of cards. So jealousy isn't a simple emotion for them. It's actually a narcissistic injury when it happens. Whenever they're jealous of someone, they suffer that narcissistic injury. And when they suffer that narcissistic injury, it's like they perceive whoever or whatever they're jealous of, they perceive that to be a threat to them. It becomes a threat to their entire self-worth. So this is the reason why they are so brutally cruel, especially when they're jealous of someone. They act so terrible. So what I want you to realize is that when you find a person, narcissist or not, that's jealous of you, sometimes you're often confused because you're saying to yourself, you're like, what do I have for this person to be jealous of? What is ironic is a person that's jealous of you could be a person that's in a far better position than you. They could have a better job than you. They could be better looking. They could have a bigger house. They could have a bigger family. They could have more money. They could have more jewelry. It doesn't matter. They could have a better body if you're looking at, things like those. But for some strange reason, that narcissist resents you and they're jealous of you. So I'm going to literally go into what drives a narcissist to be so jealous. So the first thing is, when a narcissist is jealous of you, you might notice that they're simply jealous of your achievements. So let's say, for example, you get like a promotion at work, or you finish that degree that you've been meaning to go back and finish forever, or you receive a simple compliment. This threatens their status as a special one. In other words, if you get that promotion, it makes them think about the promotions that they never got, or it makes them think about the last promotion they got years ago or months ago. And because you're getting that promotion, getting that attention, that narcissist is enraged with jealousy. For example, if you finish a degree, mind you, this degree that you finally finished, you've been meaning to go back. You started, maybe you had a couple kids, maybe you got married, maybe you moved, you changed jobs, whatever it is, you just never had any time to finish that degree. And when you finally finished that degree and you finally went back, that narcissist, not even thinking about the hard work and time that you took out to finish, is jealous of you. And the other one that I mentioned is if somebody gives you a compliment, somebody simply says something nice to you and that narcissist happens to hear. For example, let's say one day you're not even there and somebody's talking good about you. They're saying something good. They're saying, oh, let's say Becky, Becky always wears nice clothes, or Becky has a really beautiful hairstyle, or Becky's jewelry is very nice. Do not let that narcissist hear that. That narcissist gets so enraged to hear that, and sometimes they even interject when the other person gives you the compliment, and they'll start comparing themselves. They'll say something like, well, you never say my hair is nice. You never notice my jewelry that I wear. You never admired my smile. That's how that narcissist is. A narcissist cannot stand it when you give somebody a compliment. They don't like when you cheer if somebody gets a promotion. They don't like if you accomplish something by finishing that degree or that course that you've been doing. Because to a narcissist, you are leveling up and you're going to be doing better than them. And they see you as competition. Why are they like that? I have no way. That's their makeup. They're just resentful in every way possible. Another way that a narcissist is jealous of you, and I've seen it, I've even experienced it in my own life. They're jealous of any relationship that you have. And it's not even so much of a romantic relationship they're jealous of, like if a third party runs in. They're jealous of the time you spend with your friends. They're jealous of the time you spend with your family and your children. In other words, they can't see any other source of your love and attention. They can't see you giving it to somebody else because right away it's a competition. Remember, you're that supply for the narcissist. So if they feel that they're being threatened or somebody's going to be taking away that attention and admiration from them, they're jealous. Now, whenever I make my videos, I always give personal examples. And the reason why I give personal examples is because, as I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, I was raised by a covert narcissist. I was married to an overt/malignant narcissist. I dated a covert narcissist. And I've had many people that I used to say they were friends that were covert narcissists. And I have worked and still do to this day work with covert narcissists. So I kind of know them in and out. And let me tell you one thing about all of them. Every single narcissist that I just mentioned that I've dealt with or seen or come across, they're all jealous. They're all jealous. I've never seen anything like that. It's like they can't stand to hear or see anything good in anyone or hear anything good about another person. They become enraged and they often display it. And it's not that they get violent when they're jealous, but just the little comments and the little smirks that they make. But I wanted to take it back to where they're jealous of the time that you spend with your family or your children. Now, when they're jealous of your children, what is ironic about that is like you might be married to a narcissist or you live with a narcissist and you happen to have children with that narcissist. And I'm talking about your biological child with a narcissist. And whenever you give that child any attention, whether it's a young baby or it's a grown child, or I don't even care if it's an adult child, doesn't matter what, your child is your child. But if you happen to give that child any attention or any affection, or they feel you're doing more for that child than you're doing for them, they instantly start to hate your child, even though it's their child also, or they resent the child. If it's a stepchild, oh, forget it. They're like, well, this is not my child anyway, and I don't have to do anything extra or special. They resent the child even more. Narcissists do not like it when you give any attention to your children. Now, I remember when I was dating that narcissist, and I remember if I went to spend time with him, and, being the doting mother that I am, I would check on my children. I would call and check on, although my children are grown, they're older, and they're responsible, I would still call and check on my children. And the whole time that I was in the relationship with the narcissist, I never knew that the narcissist was jealous of when I checked on my children. And how I found out, this is the time I was speaking with one of his minions, and the minions would make the comments, very subtle comments. And the minion said to me that the narcissist told her that I'm always calling my children. And it just dawned on me. I looked and I said, calling my children? This is what any responsible parent would do. This is what any parent that cares about their child would do. It was so shocking and disheartening to hear that the narcissist was jealous because I cared for and I was checking up on my children. Again, this narcissist that I mentioned, they were raised, in my opinion, they weren't even raised properly, in my opinion. So as a result, to me, they never had any love, they never had any nurturing. So if they see you nurturing, or when they saw me personally nurturing my own children, they became jealous, they became enraged. So that's how narcissists are. They're very jealous of any relationship that you have with your family. It could be a relationship where, let's say, you're close with your parents. Let's say you marry a narcissist and now you don't live with your parents anymore. And you're close with your parents and you often call and check up on your parents. Maybe your parents are elderly and you are that great child and you check up on your parents. That narcissist does not like that. Two reasons why. Number one, they're just flat out jealous because you have that bond and that special relationship. And number two, 9 times out of 10, when they were growing up, they weren't close to their parent. So because they weren't close to their parent, they don't expect that you should be close to your parent. And in their eyes and in their opinion, right now, especially the fact that you are either living with that narcissist or you're married or you're in a close relationship with that narcissist views you as their property. And they don't want to share your affection or your time. They don't want you to share that with other family members or other relatives. It's like you're stepping on their toes. They look at the other person as messing with their territory. They become very territorial when it comes to their marriages or their relationships. They do not want to share their person. And it's very sad because before the narcissist met you and before the narcissist and you became one as a couple or as man and wife, the narcissist had to realize that you essentially had or came from a family. But that doesn't matter to that narcissist. The bottom line is that that other relationship or that relationship that you have first with your family or with your children or even with other friends, they want to break that relationship. They don't want you to keep attuned to anyone else except for them. And it's just really not a good way to be. And your jealousy drives them to behave like that. I also noticed that narcissists are also very jealous of your happiness. If a narcissist sees you happy because they're not happy, because they're not miserable, they are instantly jealous when they see a happy person. Again, I had another narcissist tell me this was a work narcissist because I classify them based on where I know them. If it's a family, I call it the family narcissist. If it's a romantic, I call it a romantic narcissist. But this one is the work narcissist. And me, I'm generally a happy-go-lucky person. I'm happy. I thank God that every day I'm able to see another day. I thank God that I'm here to raise my children. I thank God that I have my job. I just thank God that I have a lot. So I try to keep myself happy. But to a narcissist, happiness is not a word that they jive with. Narcissists are never happy. They're chronically depressed. They chronically complain. All the narcissists that I know, now that I think about it, they all act the same way. Always miserable, always complaining about something, always comparing themselves to somebody. It's never a happy medium with a narcissist. They could just never meet anyone. They can't even meet themselves half the way. So when a narcissist is jealous of your happiness and peace, it's like they can't understand your own ability to be content without their constant value, without their validation. And so because you're not requiring their constant validation, it infuriates them. And this proves that their supply isn't as vital as they believe. In other words, if the narcissist realizes that you're happy without them validating you or without them constantly, quote unquote, being there for you, they don't like that because a narcissist wants you to need them. They want to be needed. Why do you think when a narcissist is in a relationship with you and, God forbid the narcissist goes out and seeks another supply? Because that other supply needs the narcissist. And maybe you have gotten so comfortable in that relationship that the narcissist believes that you don't need them anymore. So this is what they do. They cannot stand it when you decide that you're not going to live off of their validation. You're not going to run your life based on their approval. They don't like it. So again, that makes the narcissist very jealous. They're jealous because you're happy and you're content and you're peaceful. A narcissist has no peace in their life. I don't care if it's a rich narcissist. I don't care if it's a good-looking narcissist. I don't care if it's a successful narcissist in terms of career. I don't care if it's a popular narcissist. Please don't let that fool you. It doesn't matter what they have or they don't have. Whether they're at the top or they're at the bottom of the totem pole, it doesn't matter. A narcissist can never have enough and they're always miserable. So that's what infuriates them and makes them jealous of you. Another thing is that narcissists are also jealous of your traits. So you might be a natural empathetic person, right? You might have a lot of confidence without being arrogant, or you just have a genuine skill. Maybe you're a great cook. Maybe you're a great beautician. Maybe you're a great driver. I don't know. You just do something good. And maybe you're just great at having the gift of gab. People are drawn to you. People like to be around you. The narcissist sees these authentic traits as assets they have to fake, which makes them resent you. Because a narcissist I always say the narcissist is fake. They're inauthentic. If you notice, when you first meet a narcissist, they're so nice and pleasant, but as you go on with a narcissist, they become so terrible. And the reason why they become so terrible is because the mask, that fake self, that representative. I had a gentleman that used to say to me that whenever he met a new lady, he would watch for a while to see how long her representative was going to be there. But now that I think about it, he was literally describing a female narcissist, because I think he was just dating all those female narcissists, but he would basically describe how long before that female narcissist would drop her mask. And it kind of makes sense. It's like he didn't want to be a part of that. But back to this narcissist who resents you because you have traits. A narcissist resents you for being empathetic. A narcissist has no empathy. A narcissist, in other words, cannot understand what it is to show sympathy, what it is to be loving, and what it is to be caring towards somebody, because they don't have it. They think you don't have it. Narcissists hate when you're confident. I had a narcissist that was trying to date me. Well, I guess he was pretending to try to date me because, again, they're such phony idiots. You don't even know, like, what is real and what is not, starting with that love bomb phase. And I remember that narcissist wanted me to chase him. Now, granted, he was a very handsome narcissist. Handsome, good looking. Oh, always kept himself up. Had a lot of swag. Beautiful beard, nice clothes, and his career was decent. He had a good old fashioned good job. He was good. And like I said, I noticed that he just wanted to be chased. But what got me with that narcissist was that I remember one day I was having a conversation with the narcissist. And at the time, as I said, I didn't realize that the narcissist was jealous of me. And the narcissist said, Mel, you're so confident. You always seem so confident, because many times I would see the narcissist at social gatherings. We gather at the same place, although we're with different people, or we could be with similar people. We were in the same social setting. So I see him and he sees me. And I remember that narcissist said to me, he said, you're so confident. And later, this is a couple years back, later when I realized that narcissist was jealous. He was jealous because while we were socializing, I mean, he socialized with people too, but there was always somebody drawn to talk with me. That narcissist was jealous. He was jealous of the way that I was dressed. He would do things to try to hurt me or disrespect me. I mean, this was the king of triangulation. And he would do little things. And for some reason, because see, at that point, I was already educated about narcissism. And I knew the playbook that this narcissist was working out of. So any little thing that he did, whether he meant it to be malicious or he was just being himself, because in my opinion, I believe that they're assholes all year round. They're always assholes. Even during the love bombing stage, they're assholes, because love bombing is actually a form of, to me, love bombing is a sin, because you're trying to deceive people about something or someone that you're not, just because you're trying to get with a person. So, but back to that narcissist, what I was basically saying is that narcissist hated my confidence, and he would do every and anything to break my confidence. He literally told me that I was very confident. And number two, just on the things that he would do, he would try to do triangulation. Although we were getting to know each other, he would stand in front of people and he would, try it. Well, he thought he was trying to ignore me. Whatever the situation, the case was, he was just a very toxic person, a very broken person. Again, as I said, he was a very good looking narcissist, and he felt that he needed to be chased. He needed that validation. So he resented me for two reasons. He resented me because, number one, I wouldn't chase him. And he also resented me because I had a lot of confidence. That's how they are. They don't like when you have specific traits. And that trait of confidence that I had, and he would always tell me, he always says, you're very kind, you're very easy to talk to. He hated that. Although he initially gave it to me or told it to me as a compliment, he didn't mean it. Now that I think about it, he was insulting me. He was saying, he was probably saying to me, Mel, you think you're better than me. And this is the reason why me and that narcissist was never really able to make a full connection, because he resented me and he hated the fact that I was positive. He hated the fact that I was empathetic, and he also hated that I was confident, as he told me literally out of his mouth. So that's how they are. Narcissists do not like when you have those authentic traits, because a narcissist is a fake. A narcissist is a phony. A narcissist is inauthentic. Your trait, your empathy, your confidence, your not being arrogant, That's an asset. And a narcissist does not or cannot attain those assets. And this is why they resent you, because the things that you use, the way you go about your everyday life, you see, you're genuine. You're a good person. You're an empath. And so because you're an empath and you're good, those traits that the narcissist resents you for, that's to me, that's innate. It's as if those things were born inside of you. Some of them were born in you and some of them were developed later based on the good person that you are. But that narcissist does not have that traits. And because the narcissist does not have those traits, they resent you. They're jealous of that. Another thing is, narcissists, speaking of having authentic traits, narcissists are also jealous of people that have resilience. And let me explain what I mean by resilience. For example, let's say something happens to you. You have the ability to bounce back from it. For example, let's say you were in a toxic relationship and, God forbid that relationship, that person was abusive to you. And I don't just mean physical abuse. I'm talking about any type of abuse. Let's say you come back from a relationship where you were being financially abused. And after getting out that relationship, you picked the pieces up and you just kept moving and you made promises to yourself that you'd never let it happen. In other words, you bounced back. You didn't let yourself run down. For example, when you got out of that relationship, you even looked better than you did while you was in the relationship. So you were able to bounce back easily from that toxic relationship that you just got out of or that you left. In other words, you bounce back from the abuse, whether the abuse was physical, it was financial, it was verbal, it was emotional, doesn't matter the type of abuse you endured during that past relationship. You bounce back from their abuse and you looked at life's challenges as, in other words, they gave you lemons, but you made lemonade. You made sweet lemonade out of it. You didn't look at life's challenges as a threat. Well, what you did, the narcissist cannot do that. They would never been able to do that. So because of your resilience, because you're able to bounce back, the narcissist resents you for that. And it shows a strength of character that a narcissist does not possess. A narcissist doesn't possess any strength in their character. They don't possess any strength in trying to get their good character. In other words, they're lacking having good character. And because you have good character, the narcissist resents you. They're envious of that. And as I've said many a times, envy/resentment is what turns to jealousy. All right? So now you have to understand that when you're dealing with a narcissist has a lot of toxic behaviors. And these toxic behaviors are stemmed. They come from their jealousy. So let's say now it's a narcissist that you happen to be dating, or you're married or whatever. You're involved with this narcissist. And you notice that the narcissist goes out of their way, especially when they're breaking up with you. They go to their way to devalue you. In other words, they will try to tear you down with the thing that they're jealous of. Okay? They might belittle your achievement. They might say, let's say, for example, let's go back to that promotion again. Let's say you got a promotion. A narcissist will come out of their face and they will simply say that your promotion ain't shit. They'll come out and say, oh, well, okay, what's the big deal? Now you the shift supervisor. It's no big deal. I mean, how much supervisors on that job? What, you the 5th supervisor? Mind you, you worked your ass off. You did so well. They noticed that you did good and you got a raise. And that toxic hater, that narcissist, is going to tell you that you're just number so-and-so supervisor. I'm just giving you an example. That's how they are. They have to belittle your achievement. They'll even go as far as telling you that promotion that you got, that is not good. That's what they do. Another thing that narcissists do when they're devaluing you, they try to sabotage every single relationship that you have. They'll sabotage relationships with your children, if you have children, whether with them or without them, or with other people. They'll try to sabotage you on your job. They'll try to sabotage any friendships you have with other people, because a narcissist likes to isolate you. They want you squirming. They want you feeling bad about yourself. So they know that when you have other friendships or other relationships, you basically have a sense of support. Narcissist does not want you to have that. They want you on your knees. They want you begging them to be your friend or to be their romantic interest. They want you to beg them. They want you to be at their mercy. And when you show a narcissist that you're not gonna do it, they instantly resent you. And this is why they devalue you so much. Okay? They devalue you so much until they eventually discard you. So now, let me tell us, they'll start the nonsense. For example, let's say they're trying to break up a relationship that you have with one of your friends. Maybe you go to the gym with this friend, or you and this friend meet up for coffee sometimes. The lying narcissist will come and tell you, because they like to make up stories. They like to make up stories. They like to fib. Their middle name is fibbing, okay? They're going to come and tell you some bullshit. Oh, guess what? Your friends are talking about you behind your back. Okay? They're talking about you. So and so say they don't like the way you dress, or so and so say that you're no good, that you're corny. They will come up with any bullshit to sabotage that relationship. And let me tell you something. And just the fact that they don't have any empathy, or they can't listen to people, and the fact that you could basically look into things and be analytical and rationalize. The narcissist is always going to tell you that you're naive, you're in denial. Again, they like to self-project, because there's no one more naive and in denial more than a narcissist. Because as I keep saying, a narcissist is a fake phony. They pretend to be everyone else, and they live by everyone else's means. They don't have any true identity. All right. The next thing that a narcissist does when they're jealous of you is that they try to mirror you. In other words, it's what we call a copycat in elementary school. So let's say, if they're jealous of your style, they might be jealous of the way you dress. You got your little Gucci, you got everything on, you're looking good, right? Let's say you have a hobby. Let's say you like to do yoga, right? Yoga makes the body feel good, right? Or you have a dynamic career. It's like they may suddenly adapt themselves to doing exactly all the things that you like, but they do it in an exaggerated way, because what they want to do is, when they exaggerate, they want to prove that they could do it better. So, for example, let's talk about the style. Let's say you collect sneakers, and you have all the latest sneakers, right? You have all the latest Jordans, just throwing something out. They're going to go, and if you had 10 pairs of Jordans, because you genuinely just collect sneakers, you're a sneakerhead, they're going to make sure that they have 12 pairs, because they want to one-up you and tell you that they got 2 more pairs than you, right? Whatever your style is, if you like to wear certain designer jeans, they're going to buy a more expensive jeans just to compete with you, just so they could say that, okay, that they have a better style. If you like to do yoga, the narcissist might start doing hiking. They might go to one of them green mountains and start doing hiking. Anything so they can get more recognition and more noticeable, for them to say they're better than you, they're going to do it. That's how narcissists work. Okay? That's exactly what they do, because of their jealousy. Remember, as I said in the beginning of this video, whenever a narcissist is jealous of you, that narcissist sees you as a threat. And when you are a threat to that narcissist will, or they believe that they're going to suffer a narcissistic injury. And as much as they try to hurt and diss people, there's nobody more sensitive and fragile. They're fragile as ego. There's nobody more sensitive and fragile than those narcissists. Again, they have double standards. They could do whatever. They could hurt you. They could disrespect you, but you dare not do it to them because of their fragile ego. They can't take it. And this is where I always hear people saying, when I was growing up, some like to dish out, but they don't like to receive. That's a classic narcissist. They could do whatever the hell they want to do to you, but you best believe that you are not allowed to treat them the same way. But as I always tell you guys in my videos, I match your energy. If a narcissist, whatever narcissist dish out is what they're going to get right back from me, until I eventually or finally disengage. I don't let nobody play in my face. Okay? The next thing a narcissist does, and this is seen so much in parent and children relationships and romantic relationships, they use the art or the game of triangulation. So what they do is they might bring a third person into the dynamic. In other words, they do this to make you feel jealous and insecure. They do this to make you feel small. They do this because they want to level the playing field, and they want to always have that control. So if they could easily triangulate. So let's take an example. Let's say, for example, it's the narcissistic parents that triangulates one sibling against another. Now they do it because they're playing favorites, number one. But number two, they want to put the siblings against each other so that way they can control one of the siblings. That's what they do. Now it can go two different ways. You could have where the sibling that the triangulation is going across, that person can disconnect from the family, or that sibling might try to please the parent. It all depends. But why is it the parent doing that? Why is the parent trying to triangulate? That parent might be jealous because the siblings have a good relationship and that parent wants to be the center of attention. Narcissists don't like happy people. Narcissists like people that are miserable, and they like people that have no self-worth. They like people that depend on them for validation. They don't want to see you happy. Why would a narcissist want to see you happy? So they use triangulation to make you feel jealous and insecure. And again, one of the biggest cases of triangulation is with the romantic relationship. And this is where you're dealing with dude, and when you and dude about to break up or you guys broke up, dude brings another person into the picture. One of the cruelest things, and as I said before, they usually bring a downgrade. They don't bring nobody worthwhile. They don't bring nobody spell-a-center. It's always some Shrek-looking bitch or some nasty person that they wouldn't even deal with as a whole. But they do it to kill your self-esteem and kill your self-worth. This is why the narcissist does that. So you just have to be strong within yourself, know who you are, that when you're dealing with a jealous person, either you, if it's up to you. It's up to you. You can ignore them or you can just disengage, because we don't need to be around haters. We don't need to be around people that resent us and hate us just because of our light or just because of the achievements and the accomplishments that we got because we worked our ass off. And that's what a narcissist is, a resentful, hateful, grudgeful person. Okay? I also wanted to let you know that many times when a narcissist is jealous of you, and this is a big, big way, they show you a lot of passive aggressive behavior. In other words, it's like they give you that silent treatment. They make little snide ass comments. Or the biggest one is when they withdraw their affection from you. And they withdraw their affection because it's a punishment. In other words, you have something that they want. So the biggest way that they withdraw their attention is when they withhold or they take away sex from you, or they barely give you any affection, any intimacy. They're doing it on purpose. They want to break you down. All right. The next way that the narcissist destroys you is that smear campaign. They are brutal with that smear campaign. And the smear campaign is used to destroy your social proof, because your social proof shows your success, right? And it shows your happiness. And so what that narcissist might do to destroy your social proof or how you blend with people, they might start gossiping and lying about you to others. That's what they do. When they run the smear campaign, they drag you and your name through the mud because they want to control the way everybody sees you. And again, as I always tell you guys, I had a narcissist that did that to me. Narcissist went and told everybody all these mean, cruel things about me. And see, by the time that narcissist had done that, as I always said, I was aware. So I just let that narcissist keep talking. Talk. Eventually, trust me, and I seen it, he got tired. And I think he got tired because, I don't know, maybe those flying monkeys or whoever he was telling, maybe they realized that he is a big ass liar. So, and that's another thing too, when they do that, those smear campaign. As we know, jealousy is what drives them to devalue and put you down. The reason why they do that smear campaign is because they want to regain that control over you. They want to control the narrative. Especially they're the ones that were doing the fuck shit during the whole relationship. They want to control that narrative. They don't want people to look at them and say that they're at fault. Because remember, if people were to blame them, that means that the narcissist would be responsible for shame, right? And as we all know, it is no secret, a narcissist cannot stand shame. They cannot take accountability for their actions. So it doesn't even make sense to try to confront them if the narcissist is on that smear campaign. If it's me, just let them keep talking. I don't care. If it's even when they go to bed at night, they got to shut their mouth. They got to stop talking. They're free to talk whatever they want to talk. But as I always say, you know what to do. You block, delete. That's the end of the story. If it's a narcissist that you cannot avoid, what you do is when you know they're hating on you because of their jealousy, then you gray rock their ass. Or if it's me, I just cut you right off. I don't even go around and pretend. Like my whole thing is fuck you. If you're not big on me, then boy bye. I'm not gonna waste my time with you. Okay? So that's what it is. So, after doing all the passive aggressive behavior and all the smear campaigns and all those things, they either continue, they go, they lie, they tell other people stuff about you, people that don't even know you, and as a result, those people start to hate you. They do it on purpose. Remember, that narcissist always hated you. That narcissist hated you. They hated your light. They hated the way you looked. They hated the way you acted. They hated the car you drove. They hated the food you ate. If you and them went out to eat something together, they hated the music that you enjoyed. They just hated you. And because they hated you and because they resented you and they were jealous of you, they made sure that they dragged you through the mud. Okay? This is how narcissists are. The narcissist basically is representing a person that has no confidence. All right? Whenever the narcissist is jealous of you, it's because you're confident and you're authentic. In other words, what is authenticity? Like you're real as hell. A narcissist isn't real. Yes, I understand that they're a real human being, but I'm talking about like their integrity. I'm talking about, their sense of self. Like they're fake, phony ass people. All right? You have a self that is not dependent on other people's opinion. A narcissist live for people's opinion. If they didn't have people's opinion to ride on, I don't know what they would do. You form genuine connections. You could bond with people. Whenever people see you, people want to talk with you. People want to get to know you. You don't have to put a show on. A narcissist does. A narcissist's whole life is a show. It's theatrics. And the biggest thing is that you can experience true joy and sadness without destroying others. Okay? A narcissist can't do that. If a narcissist, let's say, for example, a narcissist experiences true things that they're experiencing true joy. Okay? A narcissist, they're experiencing sadness. They can't do this without destroying their identity. One thing with narcissists, they're always depressed. That is the one thing that I do believe that they experience. They do experience true sadness because they're always depressed. But on the flip side, a narcissist cannot experience true joy because they're miserable people. They're not happy people. The narcissist isn't happy. The narcissist is a very unhappy, broken person. The narcissist was broken from their childhood. The narcissist continued to be broken as an adult. And because the narcissist is broken, the narcissist's main goal and mission is to break you down also. But you're not going to let that happen. You are going to be resilient and you are going to remain strong. So, with that said, these are things that a narcissist can never truly have. They can't have confidence. They can't have resiliency. They can't have true love. It doesn't matter. On no level can they have those things. And they know it. And this is why their jealousy is a twisted form of the recognition of your genuine strengths. They realize that they can't have what you have. And because of that, this is the reason why they hate and resent every single thing that you have done. So I would tell anybody, if you are dealing with a person that is jealous of you, I don't care if it's your mama. I don't care if it's your significant other. I don't care if it's what you think is a friend that you're calling a friend. Because let me tell you, and this is for another video, I'm going to do a video on the toxic narcissist friend. We need to talk about those toxic friends. We need to address those toxic friends because, trust me, they're just as horrible as the romantic or the narcissists that I really harp on, the ones in the relationships. Those wannabe friends, those pretend friends, those false pretenders, we have to do a video about those people. But for the sake of today's video, we're talking about the narcissist that's basically inauthentic and jealous of you. And if you're dealing with a person, whether they're classified or you deemed or you believe that they're narcissists, and if you think that that person is jealous of you, you got to get the hell away from that jealous person. You have to get away from that person. And the reason why you got to get away from that person, because a jealous person, they will harm you eventually. And I don't mean just physical harm. I'm talking about all the hate and all the lying that they're going to do on you. Trust you me, that is going to hurt you. If they do a smear campaign, that's a form of them hurting you. I'm going to tell you something else about narcissists. Narcissists have this really great way of hurting you without literally putting their hands on you. They do it so well. When a narcissist is jealous, that's a narcissist hurting you right there. Because if they're jealous of you, they're going to do every and anything to destroy you. And how they try to do it, they fight you passive aggressive. Some of them have the nerves to stick around and pretend that they're still interested in you. They have the nerves to pretend that they're interested in things that you're doing. That's how narcissists are. Because remember, the narcissist wants to keep you at a certain length. So that way they could watch what you're doing while they're dying with envy and still be resentful and destroy you in the process. So I hope that helps you. If you're dealing with a jealous person, drop a comment. Let me know. I don't care who the jealous person is. It could have been your sister, could have been your mom, could have been your father. Because a lot of people that we are close to resent us, and we don't even know that they resent us. But if you know how to spot a narcissist, there's a video on my channel, and I'm going to link it in this video. It's called How to Spot a Narcissist. If you genuinely know how to spot these jokers, trust me, nothing that they could say or do when they're being resentful and envious of you could ever, ever fool you again. So if somebody's being envious or somebody's jealous of you, you need to disengage. You need to move in silence. Nothing I'm going to tell you is please don't share any of your successes. Please don't share your accomplishments with the jealous, envious narcissist. Because although they might be jealous of you, because you have some of them, especially those covert ones that resent you, they will sit there and pretend with you like they're interested in your accomplishments. But let me tell you something. They have no interest in anything that you're doing. They're only there because they want to know how bad or good you're doing. That's how narcissists work. Narcissists work off of snooping around and seeing what they could discover about you, because they're going to use it against you later. While they're using it against you, they're sitting up there praying for your downfall. They want you to fail. They want you to do bad because they're so envious. They're so resentful of you. But I always tell people, disengage, disconnect, right? No narcissist can ever put me down or make me feel less than. Because me, as a child of God, I always say I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm strong, I'm bold, I'm resilient. Nobody, no narcissist is ever going to be able to put me down. They won't be able to do it. And it's the same advice, and it's the same thing that I would tell anybody. You're dealing with a toxic person. If it's a person that you live with and you can't get away from them, move in silence. Take your time. Figure out a way to get away and disengage from that narcissist. Because the longer you stick around with that narcissist, the harder it's going to be to get away from them. You don't need to be around people that resent you. You need to be around people that dislike you or people that pretend to like you. It's a lot of the haters out here. As I said many a times in this video and other videos, I have been dealing with these people literally all my life. And so when I come across a toxic narcissist who resents me or starts to show me those are the passive-aggressive behaviors, I disconnect. I disengage. I don't even give them a chance to show me. Okay, they show it to me once. I don't give them a chance to show it to me twice. I leave them where they're at. And that's what you have to do. You got to leave narcissistic, toxic, envious, jealous, wicked, cruel people where they're at. You got to leave them at a certain place. Don't you bring them with you, because it's not going to do anything for you. All they're going to do is bring you down. And it's really sad, especially when you discover that, it's a friend that you've had for years that secretly resented you. I've had many of those friends. I'll tell you something. It might sound a little bit crazy, but I don't even have any friends. I don't want any. Whenever I meet people that think that they want to try to start a friendship with me, I quickly just cut the cord. I don't even waste time. Because I don't want to deal with your fucking drama. I don't want to deal with your attitude. And I don't want to deal with you talking over me and resenting me and hating me and secretly in competition with me. I refuse to deal with anything like that. And this is what I'll tell anybody. You're dealing with a jealous narcissist, move in silence. Don't share nothing with them. Don't tell them one damn thing about you. I don't care if you got your promotion, you about to get married, you're about to move out of state, you just want some money in the lottery. Do not tell that narcissist anything. But before you can detect that they're a narcissist, again, this is where you have to be wise. This is where you have to discern. You have to be wise, and you have to discern and know exactly who or what you're dealing with. Because if you don't know what you're dealing with, it's going to make it very difficult for you to get away from that jealous narcissist. They're always jealous. They're always resentful. And even though, let's say, for example, you confront that narcissist and say, okay, I noticed that you're acting funny or whatever. Did I do something wrong? You seem a little bit envious of things that I'm doing. Because another thing with these narcissists are not, you got to just confront people from the door. Don't go around. Don't try to swivel and work around things. You just have to let people know where you stand. So if you find yourself confronting or asking that narcissist about the jealousy that they're displaying towards you, listen, don't even bother. Don't even waste your time. Just move in silence and figure out how to stop dealing with a person that resents you. Because a person that resents you, as we see and as we know, they're jealous of you. And a person that's jealous of you, they can't or they don't like you. How could you like me but you're jealous of me? How could you like me but you can't commend me or you can't congratulate me if I have a major achievement in my life? How could you like me if you're always wishing bad on me? How could you like me if every single time when I ask you for help, you're never there for me? Because your whole goal is for me to fail because you resent me. Then you don't like me. You don't like me. You're just a toxic, jealous person that's trying to bring me down. And with that said, people, please, if you notice anyone behaves like this towards you, disengage, walk away. Leave them, let them stay there with their jealousy in peace. Leave them to be jealous in peace. You don't need to fight with them if you realize that they're jealous of you. You don't need to try to change them if you realize they're jealous of you. You don't even need to work harder and try to measure up to them. Because you have to look at who it's coming from. It's coming from somebody who feels entitled. The jealousy is coming from someone who feels that everybody owes them everything and nobody should have anything in the world. That's who it's coming from. It's not coming from a legitimately hardworking person that genuinely wants things out of goodness. It's coming from somebody who resents you. So people, with that said, I thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Again, if this content resonates with you, please share. Drop a comment. Let me know how you deal with some of these issues that I presented in this video. But for the sake of today's video, please, we don't deal with people that are envious of us because at the end of the day, it's just not going to work out. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I thank you for your time. Hi guys, it's Mel. Hope everybody's doing well today. For today's video message, I want to talk about when the narcissist is ignoring you. So first things first, I just wanted to ask, have you ever felt like you've become invisible to someone you care about? Or let's say you text them, you don't get any response. It's just radio silence. Sometimes you speak and it's like you're talking to a wall. And other times, maybe you had a good accomplishment, you had an achievement, and you're excited about it. And when you try to share it with a narcissist, they just look at you with a blank stare. They look at you like, what? Total disinterest. So if any of this sounds familiar, you might be experiencing when the narcissist is giving you the silent treatment. So when they're giving you the silent treatment, they're basically ignoring you. It's really a powerful and painful form of ignoring done by the narcissist. So let's talk about some of the reasons what it is and why it's done. So when a narcissist is ignoring you, it isn't just casually forgetting or being busy that they don't answer you. It's actually a calculated tactic. And let me explain why. When the narcissist is ignoring you, in a sense, it's a form of emotional punishment. They use it to control you, and it's basically known as giving you the silent treatment. They know they're giving you the silent treatment, but you must have done something to offend the narcissist, and the best way for them is to fight you passive aggressive by giving you the silent treatment. So their goal is to make you feel insecure, confused, and desperate for their attention. And when they do that, it allows them to gain that power and control over you. So when the narcissist is ignoring you, there's a lot of times you might ask yourself why. I think one of the main things that I'm going to stick on is the reason why they're punishing you. So the narcissist is basically giving you that silent treatment because in their minds, and again in their head, they feel that you did something that they didn't like. So what are some things that you could have done? Maybe you decided to start setting a boundary with the narcissist, because everyone knows that narcissists don't like boundaries and they don't like rules. So if you think you're bold enough to give a narcissist a rule or a boundary, it's going to backfire on you. So maybe you set the boundary with them. Let's say you were having an argument with a narcissist or just a casual conversation. They said something to you and you disagreed. You gave them a difference in opinion. They're angry, they're upset. So they're going to retaliate, passive aggressive, by punishing you. All right? Even if you decide that, you're not having an argument with them and you have an independent thought. God forbid you use your brain and you actually have your own ideas and your own thoughts. In other words, you pissed off the narcissist. You pissed off the narcissist. Something you did, whether it was big or small, made them angry. And now that they're angry, they are going to shut you out completely. So once they shut you out now, they start to ignore you. The other reason why that narcissist is actually ignoring you or giving the silent treatment is because they feel that maybe based on how the relationship is going or the friendship is going, that they're not controlling you anymore. So they use ignoring to make you fall back in line and seek their validation. In other words, the narcissist wants to put you in your place, because how dare you think that you can basically do what you want to do with that narcissist? It doesn't work like that. You have to understand, narcissists have double standards. What they can do, you cannot and should not do. And if you do what they don't want you to do, or something they consider to be an insult or some type of injury to them, they are going to punish you by ignoring you. The other reason why the narcissist does the silent treatment or basically ignores you is because they have no empathy. When you have empathy, you can understand where somebody's coming from. If somebody's hurt, emotionally, you can feel it. You can empathize. You can feel, I don't want to say sorry, but you could have some type of sympathy towards a person. Narcissists don't work off of that. Some of them pretend to have fake empathy because it looks right for them to say something, but in reality, they don't have any empathy, anything kind towards other people. They're just all about themselves. So a narcissist genuinely cannot connect with or care about your feelings. They don't care about your needs or your experiences. Your pain to a narcissist is irrelevant. And sometimes when you're in pain, a narcissist gets pleasure out of it. It's satisfying to them. And the reason why they get pleasure out of that pain is because narcissist people are sadistic. Nothing drives a narcissist more crazy, or actually nothing makes a narcissist not crazy, more happy than seeing you suffer. Now, some of that might not display it, but in reality, they love when people are suffering. They get to talk about it, they get to laugh about it, and deep within their hearts, they rejoice when they see that other people are suffering. Narcissists are sadistic people. My opinion, I think they're all evil, but that's a different video. Now, the other thing is that when a narcissist is ignoring you, one of the main reasons is because they're busy with a new source. In other words, they have a new supply. They may be ignoring you because they found a new person to provide them with that narcissistic supply. So what is that new person doing? Maybe the new person is admiring. In other words, the new person is sweating the narcissist. New person is giving the narcissist all the attention in the world. New person has promised them a whole bunch of things. Maybe the new person is spending money on them. Maybe the new person is giving them, in their opinion, better sex or different sex. New person is, taking them shopping. New person promised to open a business for them. Whatever it is, that greedy narcissist has basically replaced you. And when they've replaced you, they've blocked you out their mind. So rather than, being cahoots with you or acting like they're interested, they just ignore you. They give you the silent treatment. All right? And I also believe that narcissists ignore people just to make them feel insignificant. If somebody's treating you insignificant, they're treating you as if you don't matter. They basically reinforce their own false sense of superiority. So, in other words, a narcissist basically wants to put you under their feet. They want to make you feel small. They don't want you to feel big. And this is where the narcissist shows that grandiose behavior, where they think that they're superior over you. A narcissist already thinks that that you are their gift, okay? They think that they are a gift to you. So how dare you step out of line? How dare you feel that you're important to a narcissist? A narcissist does not want to hear that. They don't believe that, okay? So there are some subtle ways that the narcissist actually ignores you. They have a lot of the same tactics, the same scenarios. It's all the same type of game with the narcissist. Because remember, they all work out of the same playbook. So some examples of how the narcissist ignores you. That narcissist, one of the biggest ways that the narcissist ignores you is with social media. All right? Whether it's online or even using the phone, let me explain to you how they ignore you on social media. The first way that they ignore you on social media is, let's say you and the narcissist are friends over one of these social media websites. When you post, the narcissist does not acknowledge, or the narcissist does not look at your story or your post. Wrong. Many times what they do is they put it where they disable it, where you can't see if they look at your post or they checked your post. But they do read it. But the narcissist is not going to give you that validation by acknowledging your posts. Because again, the narcissist does not want your head to swell. The narcissist does not want you to feel like you're important. The narcissist acts like you're basically irrelevant. So when they do that, when they ignore your post, they're letting you know that your post or whatever you're putting out there, your story is insignificant. That's a big way that the narcissist does. That's a big way that the narcissist ignores you and does that. That digital blackout. The next thing that the narcissist does, another way that the narcissist ignores you, is when you send the narcissist a text message. Now, if you get a chance, check out the last video that I did, and it's entitled The Narcissist Phone. The narcissist uses the phone as a tool and a weapon. So in a case of this where the narcissist is ignoring you, the narcissist is using that phone as a weapon. He or she is using it as a weapon to basically ignore you, to demean you, to act like you're a nobody. That's how they're fighting you. And what is ironic is when they're ignoring you or ignoring your messages, your calls, or your texts, they're blowing up somebody else's phone. So the thing with a narcissist is whenever a narcissist is acting funny, you best believe that there's someone or something else in their ears that's making them act funny towards you. There's somebody influencing or telling that narcissist to ignore you. And it could just well off be their mind based on the way they feel about you. But what I'm saying is 90% of the time, a narcissist is ignoring you based off of influence and other motivations by like a flying monkey or another source of supply. So the narcissist also ignores you like when they're in the physical realm with you. So say, for example, a narcissist is already at an event, right? And when you come to the place, they don't acknowledge you. Or it could be vice versa, where if they walk into a room and they acknowledge everybody else and they act like they don't see you, they act like they don't know you. Some of them are even so bold that if you're standing somewhere, they will come and acknowledge the person that's standing next to you or around you, but they won't acknowledge you. Because again, that narcissist is literally telling you in so many words that you don't matter. Let's say now the narcissist decides to be somewhat cordial towards you, and a group of people are standing around, including you and the narcissist. What the narcissist might do to ignore you while everybody's having conversation is the narcissist will basically have conversation with everybody else in the group, but the narcissist won't acknowledge your conversation, nor will the narcissist talk to you. All right? They do it on purpose to show that you're insignificant, and while they're doing that, if it's a group of people that's there, by them deliberately talking to other people in the group and not talking to you, they're letting the other people know. In other words, they're dissing you. That's what they're doing. They're letting the other people know that they're giving you the cold shoulder or the silent treatment. All right? That's what the narcissist does. And another thing is that even if a narcissist is with a group of people, another thing that they do, and I've seen it done, believe it or not, I've seen them do it because, again, every narcissist that I've known, whether it's a family narcissist, a love interest, a friend narcissist, they all operate the same way. They all have the same passive-aggressive behavior. It's all the same playbook that they work out of. What they might do when they're with that group is that they'll make plans in front of you with that group, and they'll purposely exclude you. And they don't even need to be in front of a group to exclude you. Because what some of them will do is this. They'll basically make the plans with other people, group or not, and they will not include you in it. All right? It's like a physical type of void. They want to let you know that, hey, look, you're not a part of this. You don't count. You're not important. But later in this video, I'm going to get to exactly how you deal with a narcissist or a person that does that to you, because nobody's going to deal with that shit. Nobody's going to take that. Again, this is where the narcissist works on your self-esteem and your self-worth. They try to demean you. They try to put you under their feet. They want to make you feel that you are a nobody. But I'm going to tell you how to handle that, okay? The next way that the narcissist ignores you is when you're having a conversation with them. Now, you would think that if it's conversation, a conversation usually means you and I, one, two people, or a group of people talking, right? Well, let's just say it's you and that narcissist talking one-on-one. So when you speak, let me tell you what that narcissist does. They ignore what you're saying. So when you speak, they immediately change the subject, or they start talking to someone else. A lot of them, another way, although it's a little bit more subtle, they will even talk over you. Okay? Again, if you're asking a narcissist a question, if it's just you and them talking, and you ask them a question, they're going to give you like them little yes or no answers. I knew a narcissist where whenever you would speak with him, again, he was so disgusted, he couldn't hide that he didn't want to speak. Because, again, they're always angry. And you'd ask him a question. His favorite phrase was, yep, nope, not no, I can't, or no, I don't want to, or yes, this happened. Yep and no. Mr. Yep, Mr. No. That's what he was, Mr. Yep, no. All right? And then if you try to have a conversation with him, when I try to have a conversation with him, he would just move along. So this is what he did. Then I would notice with the narcissist, let's say his phone rang. All right? What the covert narcissist would do, he'd pick up the phone. Again, he was very silent with you, very silent with me. But when somebody else called on the phone, oh, he had the conversation from here to like, I don't know, from America to China. He would just be talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. But he made sure that I saw that he would speak to everybody else that called, or other people that came to him, or even came to the house and spoke with him. But he would not have that conversation with me, because, again, that narcissist just wanted to put me in my place to let me know that I'm not important. So giving me those answers, or giving me those single answers, yep, no, what, or whatever, is just a way that he was putting me in my place. Now, the other way that the narcissists also ignore you is that when they ignore direct questions. And what I mean by direct questions, say, for example, you ask the narcissist, let's say you live with a narcissist, and you ask the narcissist, did you get a chance to take the trash out? They look at you, they don't answer you, they don't respond to you. Again, that narcissist is not going to give you the satisfaction of answering a question. Some of them, when you ask them a question, they will even answer you and repeat it as another question. All right? It's like a question doesn't answer a question. That's what they will do. Because, again, they're being passive aggressive. They don't want to make you feel like you're important. And in other words, when they give you those like short answers, yep, no, or they don't answer your questions, they ignore it, they're letting you know that they don't have to answer to you. They're basically saying, fuck you, you're a nobody, please don't question me. That's what narcissists do when they're ignoring you. So a lot of them also, other than just ignoring you and shutting you out, another big one is when these narcissists actually just ignore any type of achievement or anything that you did good. All right? Narcissist does not want to hear your good news. They don't want to hear about your milestones, and they do not want to talk about your achievements. So, for example, let's say you got a promotion at work. It's your birthday or some type of personal victory, something that you accomplished. That narcissist does not want to hear. They are going to completely freeze it out. Another reason why they do that, because other than being an asshole, the narcissist is jealous. If it's your birthday, they're jealous of, the narcissist is a birthday also, but you know why they're jealous of your birthday? Because on your birthday, you're getting attention. People are recognizing you on your birthday. They don't give a shit. Narcissists only recognize people that they deem important for birthdays. They don't want to recognize your birthday. They don't want to do it because to some of these stupid ass narcissists, they believe that if they recognize, you're going to feel like you're important. But again, as I said, towards the end of this video, I'm going to get to that and let you know how you deal with a narcissist that thinks they want to play in your face and ignore you. I'm going to teach you exactly how to deal with that type of narcissist. Another thing is that you have to understand, and this is a big one that I see, especially with these nasty, cruel, covert narcissists. Nobody is a bigger baby and a bigger bitch. When I say bitch, always bitching about something when they're sick than a fucking narcissist. Right. When a narcissist is sick, they want everybody to stop. They want everybody to call their ass. They want everybody to go pick up their medicine. They want everybody to visit in the hospital. They want everybody to have sympathy. And that is the only time that you might see a narcissist pretend to be humble, because the motherfuckers can't humble. They cannot be humble. Those people are one of the most arrogant set of people I've ever seen in my life, especially that covert narcissist. So, for example, when you're sick, that narcissist doesn't give a fuck. They don't want to know. They don't care. Some of these narcissists, they'll even get angry at you for being sick. How dare you? How dare you get sick? And this kind of happens with the narcissist that people live with, whether it's a male or a female. They don't want your fucking burden. They don't want your problem. But let the tables turn and that narcissist is sick. Let's say that narcissist got to be in the hospital. That motherfucker wants you to drop every single thing. They want you to take them to the hospital. They want you to visit their ass. They want you to talk to the doctors, the nurse. They want you to do every fucking thing for them. But when the moment you had a little illness or something was wrong with you, they dismissed it. Let me tell you something. Some of these narcissists, they even wish for you to be unalive. I'm telling you. They even wish that when you get sick for you to just leave. They don't give a shit. That this is how wicked and toxic they are. How do I know this? I've seen it. I have seen it. I have dealt with people that act like this. Whenever they were sick, they just wanted all the world of attention and all the sympathy. And the only time they showed any type of sympathy is if, let's say, it's one of their friends, one of their flying monkeys, or somebody in their pack. Because as I said, I always call them wolves. Okay, wolves roll in pack. Narcissists roll in packs. Let's say somebody from their crew, their pack, or one of their flying monkeys. They'll have an ounce of pretend sympathy for those people. But you, that's dealing with all the fuck shit and the abuse on the narcissist, they don't give a fuck when you're sick. They ignore the fuck out of you. And some of them will even go as far as cursing you out if you're sick. They'll curse you. Like, let's say they find out that you're sick, or God forbid you had to have some type of surgery, something major. They'll even talk bad. Well, the reason why you're sick is because you don't fucking take care of yourself, and you're eating this and you're doing that. It's like any way to shame you. I don't know if there's a word such as sick shame, but any way to fucking shame you. That's what that narcissist does. But again, as I said, towards the end of this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you deal with a motherfucker like that. Because again, with a narcissist, the best way to deal with a narcissist is two ways. Either you disengage, or if you find out that they're passive aggressive, you match their fucking energy. You treat them how they treat you. That's how you deal with a narcissist. Once you match their energy, you disengage from the motherfucker. You go no contact. Because you're not finna deal with that shit that narcissist is doing. Because like I said, the way they always try to put you in your place, you got to put the motherfuckers in their place also. So that's what narcissists do. Whenever people get sick, they ignore them. That's another way. Either they curse them out or they ignore them. That's another way the covert narcissist operates. The other way that the narcissist withholds affection from you, basically by ignoring you, is when it comes to sex, when it comes to intimacy. Narcissists don't like intimacy. Now, some of them act like they want to be players, or some of the women act like they're hoes and they want to go around and sleep with everybody and so forth. Please don't misunderstand that when a narcissist, if it's a narcissistic man and he goes around, he's fucking everybody, or it's a narcissistic woman, that's a hoe. Please don't think it's because they're getting intimacy. To a narcissist, going around and sleeping with other people is just a form of conquest to say that, oh, I got this amount of women, or I slept with this amount of men and I got this amount of men to buy me stuff. That's all that shit is. All right. So a narcissist also ignores you by giving you no type of intimacy, or they basically withhold sex. In other words, they ignore you by withholding intimacy. All right. The other way that the narcissist also ignores you too is when they're dealing with those flying monkeys. All right. So let me tell you how the flying monkeys work when they ignore you. When they're ignoring you with the flying monkeys, first of all, again, you have to understand the flying monkeys work for them, or they work together. But most of the times, the flying monkey is working with the narcissist, right? So when they're dealing with other people, especially people that they know that comes around you, they start telling those people all sorts of shit. Because remember, the narcissist and the flying monkeys, the bitches are always on your name. That they have you in common. Smearing you, talking bad about you, fucking you over. This is what the narcissist and his or her flying monkeys have in common, right? So what they do is they basically get those flying monkeys to ignore you also, to basically shun you. Sometimes a narcissist will work on your family members. And a lot of times, I'm sorry to tell you, but a lot of times, some of your family members that you think should be there for you, those motherfuckers are also flying monkeys too. Because you have family members that are just as toxic and they're also narcissists and they work for and with that narcissist. And it's really a sad issue because you would think that, if we're blood, if we're family, that you would stick by me. You would think that those narcissists would not be giving the right to the outside narcissist. But narcissists work in packs. They work together. So that's what they do. They put up their flying monkeys against you to ignore you also. All right? They do this sometimes when they're doing triangulation. In other words, they tell like crooked stories. They tell other stories to other people so that the whole group gives you the cold shoulder. And I've seen that done. Again, in my own personal life, I've seen that done. But I'm going to tell you how I handled that towards the end of this video. The narcissist, in the end, also has a lot of selective hearing. Okay? They only hear what they want to hear. As Mary J. Blige says, in the case of love, you only see what you want to see. Well, the narcissist, in this case, only hears what they want to hear. They'll ignore certain things. If something happens to you and you go, you go and you start complaining to the narcissist, the motherfucker ignores your complaints. They ignore your boundaries, or they ignore anything that doesn't boost or serve their ego. All right? While you're there pouring out your heart, it's like you're latching onto something, right? And if you're latching onto something, trying to get that narcissist to empathize or to have some type of sympathy with you, the motherfucker's going to hold that against you. They are going to hold it against you, and they're going to say that, you know what? It's your fault that this happened. If you didn't do this, this would never happen. Again, they love to blame you. They love to make you feel bad. But when it's their turn, they want you to be there for them. They can't stand when you ignore them, and this is the reason why you got to match their fucking energy and treat them how they treat you. All right? So when the narcissist ignores you, it's not a pretty thing. It isn't. Whether the person's a narcissist or not, but for the sake of this video and this message, we're talking about directly about the narcissist. Primarily the covert narcissist, because those are the assholes that ignore people the most. The overt or the grandiose narcissists, they just tell you pump and plain. They just tell you to fuck off. They don't waste time. And even if they're ignoring you, they'll just let you know, or their body language. But the covert narcissist, that's the snake in the grass. That's the one that definitely ignores you. They go out of their way to ignore you. They professionally ignore you because they get a kick out of it, because in their mind they're doing something, right? So the impact on that when the narcissist ignores you is that it feels bad, okay? If you're living with a narcissist that gives you that silent treatment and does all of those emotionally destroying things to you, it's like you feel like you're walking on eggshells. You feel like, damn, like, what the hell did I do that was so bad? In other words, you become like hyper vigilant. It's like you try to avoid saying or doing anything that might trigger the narcissist to ignore you. And this is a reason why they ignore you too, because what they're trying to tell you is that if you fuck up and you do anything to make me angry, I'm going to ignore your ass again. Okay? When a narcissist ignores you also, it also causes like a lot of self-doubt and a lot of confusion. So when I say you have self-doubt and confusion, you sit up there questioning yourself, asking yourself, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? Was it something I did? Was it something I said? Did I do this a month ago? In other words, you start questioning your memory. You start questioning your own memory and your own perception of events. And again, this is another way that the narcissist gaslights you. Although they're not using their mouth to gaslight you, making you think that you did something or you didn't see something that you did. But when you start questioning your mind, questioning your reality, questioning if you did something wrong to that narcissist, that motherfucker is still gaslighting you, but they're doing it silently, if that makes any sense. It's still a way for you to distort your own reality. Please don't let that narcissist do it to you. And finally, what happens is when a narcissist ignores you, that shit causes you a lot of anxiety. All right? It's like you become obsessed. For example, let's say you text the motherfucker doesn't respond to you. You pick up that phone and it's like you sit up there waiting. You keep checking and looking at your messages. You're checking your phone constantly. It's like you're overanalyzing every fucking word. If they send you a text, everything that they said or they did, it's like you're waiting for a response. Why would you want to live like that? Okay? The narcissist is also training you to work for their validation when they ignore you. When they finally do give you the attention, it feels like a relief. And the whole nasty, dirty, toxic cycle starts over again. All right? They continue to do it. So the most important thing that we want to look at right now is when a narcissist is ignoring you, how are you supposed to respond? How are you supposed to heal? How are you supposed to get over that? Because again, I can imagine if you live with a covert narcissist, or a narcissist for that matter, whatever the fucking type of narcissist is, it doesn't matter. There's got to be a way to do it. And so I have a few strategies, or I have a few ways that I think I would handle the situation, and this is the way that I've used to handle the situation. First thing is, if I'm dealing with a narcissist and I call a motherfucker or I text a motherfucker and they don't respond back to me, you best believe that I would never blow up their phone. And I would tell you to do the same. Ignore the fuck out of their phone. Ignore the text, ignore the messages. It's up to you. If you want to answer them, if you want to take the message, or if you want to take the call, if you want to send a message, it's up to you. But knowing me, the way that I match energy, what you do, I'm going to do back. There is no fucking way I'm going to be blowing up your phone or begging a response for you or apologizing for something that I didn't do, because your fucked up mind wants to punish me because you're on a fucking ego trip. So I would tell you, when a narcissist ignores you, especially with the phone, please do not blow up their phone. In other words, when that narcissist hears from you again is when you decide that you want to answer them, if they decide to call you. You see, you got to make things conditional with a narcissist. If you do this, then I will do this. We see conditional statements in mathematics and science, but I mean, dealing with a narcissist is not a mathematical problem. But listen, it's a condition with a narcissist. If you do this, then I'm going to do that. Or the other way is you go no contact. You dismiss, you disengage from that narcissist. So what you should do is you got to match their energy. You got to give them the space that they're creating. How do you do that? You keep your ass quiet. You keep your ass quiet. You don't engage. You don't answer them. When the motherfucker decides that he wants to call you or she wants to finally call you, you don't pick your phone up. Match their energy. In other words, you got to give that narcissist a taste of their own medicine. It's like they think they're teachers. So as a student, you got to learn how to work with them. All right? Another thing that you need to do is when a narcissist says they want to ignore you, especially if it's a romantic relationship, you live with somebody that's ignoring you. Let me tell you, if it's me, I would find something to do. Me, I'm naturally a busy woman anyway. I always have something to do. I always have somewhere to go. I don't let nobody waste or take up my time. If I find that you're bullshitting, you best believe I will not be making any fucking plans with you more than once. Go ahead with yourself. I have no time for that shit. All right? But what you got to do is when you living with a narcissist that's ignoring you, got to use your time and your mental energy that you would have spent on them and poured into yourself. This is where this whole thing of, doing your glow up, getting self-care, start doing a new hobby, and actually develop a healthy relationship with other people outside. In other words, let's say you picked up a hobby. Rather than waiting for that narcissist to do shit with you, and that's another fucking thing too, when they're ignoring you. They don't do anything with you. But the motherfuckers will do stuff with the other supply, but they will not do shit with you. They won't do anything with you. So rather than wait for that narcissist to spend quality time with you, no, get up and find something to do. Stop letting that narcissist be your whole circle, your whole life. Trust me, when that narcissist sees that you're enjoying your life, or you're doing things, you have a new set of friends or new hobbies, or you're even doing stuff with yourself. Because one thing you got to learn, you have to learn to enjoy your own company. You have to learn to enjoy being by yourself. You have to learn to appreciate your own peace. You have to learn not to depend on people to entertain you or to make you happy. And this is the reason why it's so hard to deal with a narcissist ignoring you. Because if you are used to spending a lot of time with the narcissist and doing things around the narcissist time and schedule, they know they got you hooked. They got you locked. It's too much of a control that you're giving to that narcissist. So get you or find you something to do. In other words, get a life. Stop waiting on that narcissist to make you feel fulfilled. It doesn't make sense. Another way that you can respond to that silent treatment or that ignoring is that you got to recognize, you got to think to yourself, it's not you. You're dealing with a person that has an ego problem. You're dealing with a person that's basically an asshole in a nutshell. You're dealing with a person that has no empathy. You're dealing with a cold, callous person. How the fuck is that person going to give you what you need or be there for you when they themselves don't even fucking know how to deal with life? If they don't know how to deal with the perils of life, how the fuck they going to deal with you? All right? It's not worth it. When that narcissist is ignoring you, they're trying to break you. They're trying to break you. They're trying to let you question your self-worth. That narcissist is telling you that you are a nobody. All right? You have to recognize that it's not about you. You cannot fix a narcissist. You can't give them more love. You can't give them more attention. You can't sit there with a narcissist ignoring and say, "Oh, I noticed that you're ignoring me. Why? How can we fix this? How can we have more conversations during dinner?" As I said, ignore their ass right back. Ignore them. You have to set boundaries. If you can't go no contact, because I understand some of you live with these narcissists, some of you work with these narcissists. I understand that. I understand that for the people that have children with these narcissists, it's very difficult. But you got to let that narcissist know. You got to let them say, "Look, I'm not going to engage when you're giving me the silent treatment. When you're ready to communicate, when you're ready to respect me, I'm here." And then what you do is once you tell that narcissist that, if it's on a phone, you hang up your phone. If it's in person, you walk away. But do not sit up there and beg that narcissist to stop ignoring you. You can't do that. And if it's something that the narcissist does where they shut you out, they ignore you, or if they do the shit on the phone, or even if they decide to ghost you, because again, narcissists love to ghost. I call them Casper the Friendly Ghost. They always like to go Casper on people. All right? If they ignore you and so forth, the only way to win is not to play. Do not play their stupid game. I think the best way is to basically disengage permanently and go no contact. Do not let that narcissist have that power. And I'm going to tell you something. I remember I have dealt with so much narcissists my whole life. My whole life. I was raised by a covert narcissist. Didn't realize that she was a narcissist until I became an adult and I realized that narcissism was. And when I look back at it, many a times, she ignored my ass. Okay? I was married to a narcissist. I dated several narcissists. And again, you might say to yourself, "Mel, if you know so much about narcissism, why did you deal with them?" I only dealt with them because at the time I didn't know what a narcissist was. But now that I know, it's like, wow, I look back and I'm like, damn, I dealt with a lot of shit. But I'm telling you, from that time, there is no fucking way a narcissist could ever play in my face again. My final word of advice is that if a narcissist ignores you, or whenever a narcissist has ignored me, I have made it a permanent fucking arrangement. In other words, if that narcissist didn't speak to me, if that narcissist didn't take my call, if that narcissist saw me in public and didn't acknowledge me, I did the same. I made it permanent. I even went as far as I don't even make eye contact with a narcissist like that anymore. It doesn't serve me any benefit. It doesn't serve me any purposes. Whenever a narcissist ignores you, make it a permanent arrangement. You ignore them right back. In other words, you are going to see who could hold out much longer. Hopefully, you're the one that wins and holds out much longer. Someone is ignoring you, don't take it personal. Keep it moving. I hope that helps you. Have a great day. As I said, you're first, you're number one. Please don't let anybody ignore you and help you diminish your self-worth. People, have a wonderful day. If this content resonates with you, please comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you had to ignore a narcissist that thought they were ignoring you, or have you ever been ignored by a narcissist? And if yes, how did you handle it? Are you currently being ignored by a narcissist? And if you're currently being ignored by a narcissist, how do you plan to address it? With that said, have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time.